The Galactic Council chamber erupted in laughter as Captain Darren Holt stood alone in the center of the arena. Towering Krillian warriors, their exoskeletons gleaming under the artificial suns, slapped their armored thighs in amusement. The Serpentine Vosh delegates hissed with derision, their forked tongues flickering mockingly. Even the diplomatic Xanthari, usually composed, allowed themselves subtle clicks of their mandibles, the equivalent of condescending chuckles. This? Commander Zexathor boomed, his four eyes blinking in sequence as he gestured toward Darren with a clawed appendage. This soft-skinned primate is Earth's champion? Darren stood motionless, his worn combat armor bearing the scars of 100 battles across a dozen worlds. His dark hair was streaked with premature gray, and his eyes, those calm, storm-colored eyes, surveyed the assembled alien forces without a trace of fear. Humans, spat General Kryn of the Vosh Empire, her scales shimmering iridescent purple, weak, slow, no venom, no natural armor, no wings. You possess nothing that makes a species worthy of respect in this galaxy. The challenge had been issued 3 solar cycles ago. Earth had requested membership in the Galactic Council, but the elder races demanded proof of humanity's combat worthiness. 1 human against the Council's champion forces. A ritual as old as the Council itself. Darren had volunteered without hesitation. Your species conquered your homeworld through primitive tools and even more primitive violence, Zexathor continued, his voice dripping with contempt. But this is the galaxy, human. Here you are nothing but prey animals playing at being predators. The arena floor was a circular platform suspended above a churning void, nearly a kilometer in diameter. Around its perimeter, thousands of alien spectators from hundreds of worlds watched from elevated viewing decks. Holographic displays broadcasted the event across the galaxy. Earth was watching. The Council wanted humanity to witness their champion's humiliation. I accept your assessment, Darren said quietly, his voice nonetheless carrying across the arena through the translator nodes embedded in the floor. You see me as weak, inferior, unworthy. Finally, the creature understands its place, Kryn sneered. Darren's lips curved into something that wasn't quite a smile. But you've made one critical error in your calculations. And what would that be, human? Zexathor asked, genuinely curious despite his disdain. You assumed I came alone. The words hung in the air for a moment before the laughter resumed, louder than before. The concept was absurd. The rules were clear. 1 champion, no technological weapons, no armor beyond what could be carried. The human had agreed to these terms. Darren reached up and tapped the small comm device behind his ear, one of the few pieces of technology permitted, used only for the translator function. Or so the Council believed. Fenrir. Astrax. I could use some backup. The sky above the arena darkened. It happened so quickly that most of the spectators didn't understand what they were witnessing at first. The artificial atmosphere generators flickered and failed. Warning klaxons blared throughout the station. Then came the roar, a sound that bypassed the ears entirely and resonated in the chest cavity and the bones, in the primal fear centers of every sentient brain present. 2 shapes descended from the void above. The first was massive and lupine, its body wreathed in crackling energy fields that interfaced directly with its neural pathways. Fenrir was no ordinary wolf. He was the result of humanity's desperate genetic engineering during the Isolation Wars, when Earth stood alone against the void. 15 feet tall at the shoulder, his fur was the color of gunmetal, and his eyes glowed with an intelligence that matched any being in the Council. Cybernetic enhancements merged seamlessly with organic tissue, giving him capabilities that blurred the line between creature and spacecraft. The second form was even more impossible. Astrax descended on wings that seemed to slice reality itself. The dragon, for no other word could describe the magnificent creature, was humanity's answer to the question of biological spaceflight. Her scales shifted through colors that didn't exist in standard visible spectra, adapted from studying the chromatic properties of quantum fields. She was 70 meters from snout to tail, her body a masterwork of bioengineering that allowed her to survive and thrive in the vacuum of space. Plasma vents along her neck glowed like forge fires. The laughter died. Impossible, Zexathor whispered, his arrogance crumbling. The scans. There were no life signs except the human. You scanned for conventional life, Darren explained. His voice still calm as Fenrir landed beside him with earth-shaking force, and Astrax circled overhead, her shadow falling across the arena like the hand of death. Fenrir and Astrax exist partially in quantum states. They're here and not here simultaneously until I call them. Humanity learned to bend the rules when the galaxy made it clear that playing fair meant extinction. Kryn's scales had gone pale. This is cheating. The rules state one champion with no technological weapons, Darren interrupted. Fenrir and Astrax aren't technology. They're alive. They're my partners. My pack. He placed a hand on Fenrir's massive flank and the wolf's growl resonated through the arena floor. And they're not weapons, they're family. You cannot, Zexthor began. Cannot what? Darren's voice hardened. You wrote the rules to exclude technology because you feared humanity's innovations. You mocked our lack of natural weapons, our soft skin, our vulnerability, but you forgot the one thing that makes humans truly dangerous in this galaxy. Astrax descended, landing on the opposite side of the arena, her weight making the entire platform groan. Her mouth opened, revealing plasma hot enough to melt battleplate. We don't face the universe alone, Darren continued. We never have. We bonded with wolves when we were still living in caves. We've dreamed of dragons since we first learned to tell stories. And when we reached the stars and found ourselves surrounded by species that saw us as inferior, we did what humans have always done. We brought our friends with us. We uplifted them. We enhanced them. We made them our equals. Fenrir's howl split the air, a sound of challenge and defiance. Astrax answered with a roar that made the viewing decks shake. So yes, Darren said, meeting Zexthor's terrified gaze. Mock the human. Mock our soft skin and our lack of natural weapons. But remember this moment when you wonder why you should fear us. It's not because of what we are individually. He gestured to his companions, his pack, his family. It's because we're never truly alone. The Council's champion forces stood frozen, their weapons lowered. Above the arena, Astrax circled in victory, breathing fire that wrote humanity's name across the stars. Beside Darren, Fenrir stood ready, loyal unto death and beyond. The vote for Earth's Council membership was unanimous.